Hi Teddies, it's your island doll Winnie and I am back with another video. Now if you follow me on Instagram at island._doll, the title of this video comes as no shocker to you, but if you don't, surprise, I am pregnant. And me and my husband is super elated to be partaking on this journey and cannot wait to see what Parenthood has in store for us. Now in this week's video, now that we got the pregnancy announcement out of the way, I'm going to be talking about my journey on trying to conceive with PCOS, what PCOS even is if you don't know, the importance of your HCG level when you're trying to take an at-home pregnancy test when you have PCOS, experiencing false negatives. Yes, it's very common for women diagnosed with PCOS. I've experienced that a few times, like the mental state it takes on you, my first signs of pregnancy, my reaction, like it's just so much I want to unpack in this video. So if you're interested in any of those things, I suggest you watch the entire video and stick around. Just saying, hang out for a bit. Okay, Teddies, now before I start unpacking the contents of this video, let me just put this little disclaimer out there, okay? Every female with PCOS does not go through the same symptoms. For example, you have some females that endure hair growth issues like facial hair and stuff like that, whereas some females don't, like myself. I've never had that issue. I would experience severe migraines. I had to get head scans and stuff like that. Some people don't. Weight gain, case in point. And then and because of that, you have the illusion that only obese or overweight persons, females, will experience PCOS, and that's not always the case. You have petite women, slim, fit women that are diagnosed with PCOS. And also a very common one, the next one, is irregular cycles. Some females miss a week, whereas females like myself and many others that I've heard, we're lucky if we see our cycles 3 times in a year. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's different for everyone else, and I say that to say this. Not because you're diagnosed with PCOS means that you are going to have problems trying to conceive. It can be super easy for you. You could be trying for a couple of weeks and boom, poof, pregnant. Whereas like myself, it's gonna be an uphill battle. Gotcha? Get what I'm saying? So it's different for everyone else. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into this. Okay, so let's start off with what is PCOS. PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And what that means in the most layman terms, as basic as you can get it, is a hormone imbalance. And like I stated before, it's different for every woman. Some people have it minor, whereas in some cases it's severe. You can have hyperpigmentation, what I suffer from, acne issues. Some people have hair growth issues, weight issues, insulin resistant, just different things, irregular cycles, and in some, well, most cases, issues trying to conceive. And that's basically what PCOS is, a hormone imbalance. Now, let's talk about my journey trying to conceive. Okay, so my journey on trying to conceive with PCOS started back in late 2019, but me and my husband didn't really take it like serious, like really start trying until like the beginning part of 2020. And I was in the middle of my weight loss journey. You know, I've always been a active person, but due to my PCOS, like the weight just stuck to me, you know, like glue. But that all started to change when I was introduced to this hormone balancing supplement. And what was so ironic, I was introduced to it in a Facebook group I was a part of. I think I still am a part of it, that had nothing to do with wellness or health. I think it's called Women Who Love Makeup or something like that. And one of the members just randomly posted, like, I know this isn't what the forum is for, but I deal with PCOS, and I just want to know if anyone has any suggestions on what I can do, what I can take, X, Y, and Z, to say help deal with this. And sometimes you can be dealing with something. You're not the only person, but because you don't really have someone to say conversate with, it tends to feel like only you want to dealing with it. Comment down below if you can relate to what I'm saying. But yeah, persons just started commenting, and it was an eye opener. I was like, what? And it was really, really like a huge eye opener. And it was a specific member in the group that suggested this hormone balance supplement that you can get right over the counter. If you would like me to make a video on this, I definitely will. Comment down below. And I reached out to her, and she told me where she bought it from, X, Y, and Z. And so I did that, and I continued my weight loss and changed a few things in my wellness routine just to say, get myself on track while trying to conceive. And even though I knew what I was dealing with, for some reason I still felt like, hey, me and my husband are having unprotected intercourse. It's supposed to be a wham bam, thank you ma'am, bun in the oven. That wasn't the case for me. It became a routine, like a cycle of, I think I'm pregnant now, let's buy a pregnancy test and see if it's positive, and just heartbreak of no, negative. And that became a cycle. That became like a constant to do, But again, very optimistic, because the supplement I was on started drastically changing things to where it made it more plausible in my mind that this is going to happen. One of the biggest thing I can say drastically changed was my cycle. From I was a preteen, from the time I first saw my menstrual, I have been irregular. And so when she started seeing it every month, like, wait a minute now, who was this? So it started to just change things I would regularly do, working out, walking, and so forth. The weight just started melting off. But for some reason, it just was not adding up. It just was not working out, getting that positive sign on the pregnancy test. And when you go through that, after a while, it becomes, okay, well, we're going to try this again and it's going to work out. It starts to take a mental drain on you. Like, your emotions, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Comment down below, like the frustration you will deal with just time and time again, taking those tests, and it is negative. Like, it becomes very draining. So that takes me into the mental state and emotional state that it impacted on me. So let's get into that. All right, so like I stated, it started to become just mentally draining for me, emotionally draining, and it just started to take a toll on me. This whole vicious cycle of thinking I was pregnant, taking a test just to be disappointed. And my husband started to notice a change in my emotions, I remember one time that I took a test and it was negative, and I just broke down in frustration. And he said to me, like, you sure you want to take a test? Like right now, like everybody time, this and that. And I became snappy, and I had to apologize and just explain to him that it's not him. I didn't even think it was the process, making me frustrated. At one point, I just felt irritated with me, like with myself. Like, why is my body not doing what it was naturally designed to do? Like, what is the deal? I was just emotionally starting to break. Like, people having kids that don't even want them, like, why is this so difficult? And so I know how it feels to anyone out there with PCOS trying to conceive. It is possible. Keep your head up, keep pushing. Right. And that is what really pushed me to make this video, because I really debated going back and forth with it, but I know how mentally draining it can become, how emotionally draining it can become, because you become invested in this process because you want the outcome so bad. And so I completely get it. And comment down below, like, if you're in the midst of trying to conceive a PCOS. I would love to hear your story. Like I stated, I definitely can't wait to read your comments. But yeah, it became emotionally draining, and so thankfully I have such a supportive husband and just an awesome prayer life, because I just really had to pray it through. You hear me? And it was not easy, especially when you really do feel as though you were pregnant. It's hard to explain. But the first signs of pregnancy I experienced was fatigue. I'm a very relatively active person, and I remember it became so odd to me that I get exhausted so quickly. Like, I would just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna lay down for a little bit and just be like out like a light. Did not know when I fall asleep, just knock out. I also remember experiencing like fevers, like the earlier stages of it. But something that stuck out to me was I started to experience these cramps, like in my lower abdomen, like groin area almost. I started to experience those, to where I was like, okay, something is going on. What in the world is this? And I remember contacting my aunt that was away at the time, and I'm like, something isn't right. Like, I am tired. I'm having fevers off and on, and now I'm having these stupid cramps off and on in my lower abdomen. Like, what's going on? And she said to me, well, take a test. Like, that sounds similar to what she was going through when she found out she was pregnant with her daughter. She's like, take a test. And keep in mind now, we're trying to conceive. I've been taking tests and it's been disappointing. So I'm like, I'm not even on this run. I'm trying to even take a test and be disappointed again. So I kind of brushed it off. With those signs, I brushed it off. You may be thinking, well, why brush it off? This is where the false negative test comes into play. So there was a point in time where I had even started to feel nauseous in the mornings. Like, only in the mornings I would get this horrible feeling like I just went on a carnival ride and ate food before I went on the ride and just was spun around. And I was like, okay, no, I need to take a test. And I took a test, and it wasn't just one line on it. Because you have different kind of tests. Some that will tell you pregnant, not pregnant. Some show baby face, or I don't know what it shows if you're not pregnant. I guess no baby face. And the most common one is the one with the 2 lines. It's either red or dark pink. 1 line if you're not pregnant, 2 lines if you are. And so I remember taking one of those tests, and it was 1 line and a next line that was very faint. So I was like, hold on, is this a pregnancy? Is this a positive or what? And I remember being told that that's more than likely an evaporation line, which is basically when you take a pregnancy test and the urine or residue on it dissolves, and it leaves behind a very, very faint faded line. And so they're like, take a next one. And I took a next one, 2 other ones after that test, and it was just 1 line. So I was like, oh, flip, I guess it was a negative. Got excited for no reason. This is where your HCG levels come into play when you have PCOS, and how important it is. And I'm mentioning this now right after stating the false negative I received for you to see how it connects. So your ACG level basically determines how the test reads. Women with PCOS, remember, we have a hormone imbalance. So if your ACG level is not high enough, that test cannot read it, which is why a lot of females like myself don't find out we're pregnant until maybe a month or 2 months, some people later on into their pregnancy. It is possible, like those stories where you hear people that had kids like didn't realize they were pregnant up until they were in labor, those are true. Okay, those are very real, and it happens more than you think. And that's because like you show no signs, or you show signs, you took a test, and because your hormones balance is so out of whack, your ACG level is not reading on the at-home pregnancy test. So a lot of times it's suggested if you think you were pregnant and you have PCOS to just go into your physician, your gynecologist, and get in-clinic tests. But that is why it is so important to understand your ACG when you have PCOS in particular. And so I came to understand after the fact, after stressing myself out ridiculously, taking these tests, that you possibly are pregnant. This is not the test that's sensitive enough to pick up my ACG level. And it's because of my PCOS. And so it was actually recommended to me to take I think it's called a digital pregnancy test. And a digital pregnancy test is more like the Clear Blue test or first response tests and stuff like that can pick up a low ACG level. Okay, so that's food for thought for you right there. But yeah, it's very important to note that when you have PCOS, your hormone imbalance could be causing your ACG level not to be readable on an at-home pregnancy test. So let's get into my reaction. So like I stated, I started to get nauseous in the mornings, like a belly full of cotton candy hung upside down on a roller coaster type in the morning nauseous. So where I was like, you know what? Let me just listen to my aunt. Let me buy this digital pregnancy test, spend a little cha-ching, and see what is going on. But of course, before I did that, I had to be stubborn, okay, and buy the regular ones I was taking before. I think it was like a one-step test or something like that. Didn't cost much, maybe like a $2.99 test or something like that. And again, it was a negative. I'm like, what the heck? This is now like October 4th, I want to say, like 3rd or 4th. I took that test, and it was that very faint line again. Took another one, it was saying negatives, and I'm like, I'm over this, you know what? So maybe like 2 weeks went by, and I said, you know what? Enough with the stubbornness. I'm really not feeling well. And I slowed down on my workout and everything like that because I had started gaining weight while working out what I was losing weight doing. And I said, let me stop because this really isn't adding up. Let me stop being stubborn now. Whether it's negative or not, I need to just buy the digital test and see what it says. So I went to a local store, not too far from my home, purchased a digital test. I think it was a Clear Blue. And no, I think it was a first response. I'm not really sure. But I took that. That was maybe around 18 or 19 or so. And to my surprise, it came up very, very quickly that it was a positive. So I actually have a video of me recording myself. And what is so crazy, I recorded that video just off a whim. Didn't think I would ever be using it because I didn't think I would even be making this video. But I'm glad I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert that video right here and get back to you guys. Hello, so this is gonna be a short little vlog. Not sure if I'm gonna post this or not, but I am going to be taking a pregnancy test. First, I'm doing one of these. I already took it out of the wrapper, and yeah, so this is how it looks, and it clearly tells you what is what. 2 lines pregnant, 1 line not, whether it's faint or whatever. So just put this tip in. We all know to read a box. So let's see. Okay, so I just took the test and I was feeling a little pain in my pelvic and stuff like that. So I was just like, you know what's happening? I'm a little out of breath right now because I was not expecting this result. I took a test a few weeks back on the 5th of October. It's now the 19th, and I thought it might have been an evaporation line because I've heard about that, especially with PCOS. You know, your I think it's called the HGC or HCG levels have to be a certain height for it to be readable, and it was hard to read. I'm sorry, I'm so shocked right now. So the day is the 19th of October. So as you can see on the box, it says pregnant 2 lines, not pregnant 1 line. And you guys, do you see the 2 lines? Like, do you see it? I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. I started in a new supplements regimen to help with my PCOS and different things. And I need a second. Give me a second. I'm a little frazzled right now. I'm not even gonna lie. Okay, so we're back. Breath intact. And yeah, so apparently I'm pregnant. Yeah. I really don't even know what I'm gonna do with this video because I am shocked. And I can't wait to tell my husband. So hopefully I might just post this. I don't know yet. So as you can tell by now, the editing might be crap, but hopefully this is some inspiration to those who have PCOS. So yes, guys. So that was 2020, my reaction when I found out on October 19, 2020 or so. Fast forward to today, I am now 26 weeks and super excited to find out the gender that we're having in the next couple of weeks at my next doctor's visit. We cannot wait to find out what we are having. Just a few more months to go and we will have our bundle of joy. And so I just wanted to share my experience and hopefully inspire someone else that's just really going through it right now, trying to conceive with PCOS. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Comment down below. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. So until next time, remember to be you unapologetically, and I will see you in the next video.